All right, there we go. Good afternoon. We are live and hopefully ready to roll. Uh, okay. Um, so we made it. Starting an hour and a half later than I intended. Uh, but we had a lot of problems. Uh, got a new headset because I was having so many issues with the last one, especially with the unmuting, muting, all that problem. So finally gave up on it. Said switching to Asus, Republic of Gamers. So trying to get that to work with my whole sound system. Ad break starting soon. We'll stop once that happens. Trying to get that to work with my sound system was impossible, and even connections, and oh my goodness, technology is horrible. But we made it. It's gonna be a short stream. I know this ad break's about to interrupt me as I talk. Um, so I'll wait till that goes, and then we'll jump over to start painting. Um, any second now, Siribot. You can see the den. The Grizzly Den has received upgrades. Compliments of Brushpaw, my AI, which I unashamedly use. Use. Is that the ad break? Yeah. There we go. Only 30 seconds, so easy peasy. Um, so I think I figured it out as best I can. Kind of a strange way I've got this set up with Bluetooth and some 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi or something. I don't know, but it's working. It's working. I've got audio in my ear that is not in your ear. We're good to go. All right, let's head over. Um, so like I said, I'm not gonna be. It's gonna be a shorter stream. Um, One, I took about an hour and a half of messing with audio to get where we are now. Um, and then uh, the and I still have the gym tomorrow. So gray green. Where's my cool gray? So I don't know. Part of me is thinking I've got this whole batch of B1 battle droids that I just kind of did the armor sloppily, using one step. I need to do the guns and the base, but I don't know if I wanna. I don't know if I want to mess with that on stream. I don't know. Maybe I will. Oh, this one needs more work. That was my little Stap Rider. Again, the base needs to be done. I just saw some spots that I missed. on the actual droid. That droid, a little bit on that one. But I don't know. I kind of want to do this start from finish, but I know I'm not going to get that done tonight. But I have committed to streaming Wednesday nights, so I wanted to persevere. I was ready to give up 45 minutes in, and then I started again. So I didn't give up. It's been a week. It has been a week for sure. A lot of changes this week for me. So hopefully my camera, we should move this over. That's better. Not that you guys care to see me, but that's too bad. You have to. Alright. So, what I'll do is I'll work on this guy a little bit tonight. And then I'm going to jump over. I'll be back on Friday. Probably 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And I'll finish this guy then. I won't touch him off stream this week. As long as I don't run into issues like I ran into last Saturday. Last Saturday was quite the ordeal. I started on Darth Maul. Lightsaber, great. Started working on his black cloth. It was going well, and then I put transparent black over it as my filter, and it was horrible. Hey, ABG. Oh, I ran into a lot of... Saturday I ran into a lot of walls. I was having a very hard time with that Darth Maul miniature. I think a lot of it, I was just so tired. I couldn't even wrap my mind around... Especially once I messed up the cloth, I couldn't even figure out how to fix it. So I was like, well, I'm going to start doing the leather instead, the black leather, and as I was placing highlights, it just looked like garbage. So I was like, you know what? We're going to dry brush battle droids. How are you doing, AVG? How is your week going? You are tired. What you been up to? Just the grots running you down, or? The sick kid in a stream. You did have a very late last night's stream. When I woke up, I had the notifications on my phone. Sorry to hear about the sick kid. That is, my daughter was young. That was the worst. Yeah, I'm gonna paint this guy the same way as this one. This is fives. Yeah, no. How you don't have to answer this, but how old is he? Like I said, if you're not comfortable answering that, don't. Um, so I did this a week ago. I don't remember if it was, I think it was Friday, or maybe it was Wednesday, last Wednesday. Um, so I'm gonna do the same with this. That was Clone Trooper 5s. This is Echo, who also joins the Bad Batch. I swear I know words. So I do have, I didn't show the colors when I pulled them out, but the armor for this guy, um, I'm starting with slate gray, and then I'm moving to neutral gray, and then cool gray, and then just the tips of the highlights. Wait, is that what I did? Maybe I didn't do it that way. No, I think I did. I know I put out some white blue for the very tips of the highlights, so I might have this off. Well, we're committed. Most of the clone troopers that I've been working on, I've just been doing one step special sauce mixed with white blue, and painting that over a zenithal black prime white white dry brush, white zenithal dry brush. I'm getting away from using the term slap chop, even though that is what it is, but this has existed a lot longer before the name slap chop came about, so it's just underpainting zenithal prime. Slap chop, slap chop. I know, if you say that, and I've got them in my ear right now, if you say that in Monument Hobbies chat, you'll get a reaction. And yeah, I've got them in my ear right now, so I feel like they can also hear me. Not trying to make Jason mad. I want to keep buying his products. I mean, you can ask him what he thinks about it. I had a gentleman in here Saturday who's been painting since before I was born, and he kind of said the same thing. I don't know who coined slap chop. I know a couple streamers that made it, or not streamers, like YouTube content creators. Like I know Ninjon brought it up a few times. Um, Don Cerratos, he kind of feel like he really kind of propelled it forward, the usage of that, especially when he came out with the whole double slap chop deal, which I do, and I do love using that. I think that's a really fun way of upping the ante. Um, but the other thing with this is the one step is a little bit different than standard contrast paint. It works similar, but not fully. So that's where it's a little bit different than, like, I guess it's a little different than true Slapshot. I guess. I don't know, it feels to me like it works very similar. Um, so yeah, like I was saying earlier, there was a lot of changes this week for me. Uh, so came into work Monday. The president of the company was down. Um, well, he came in a little later from. Um, he's in the corporate headquarters in Vancouver, Canada. So he came down and let us. Well, one, he pulled me aside and let me know that my boss's last day would be that day, Monday. Um, so that was, well, let me put it this way. I wasn't surprised, but I was still surprised. I knew my boss was seeking other options. I knew he was beyond angry and tired of some of the challenges that he was facing, right, wrong, or indifferent. Um, um, temporarily, yeah. I haven't decided if that's a good thing or not. Um, so yeah, I am now the interim general manager. Um, and yeah, I'm not sure yet if that's I don't know if that's a good thing yet. So far, 3 days into my new temporary title, and I think that contributed to my frustration prior to me starting the stream of trying to get all the audio to work. 45 minutes in, I threw up my hands and said, I'm done. I'm just not even going to stream tonight. Then I calmed down a bit and started messing with it again for another 45 minutes. I mean, it's like a double-edged sword. Um, my boss had a lot of challenges with our headquarters and how things were done, and I had a lot of problems with my boss. So our headquarters has never been a problem for me. Hopefully it stays that way. A lot of times, in many situations, they weren't the villain that they were painted to be, and that attitude, that anger towards them, um, the constant complaining, and it really created a negative work environment. Um, and we're a small team. a very small team. Let's see, I think so. A couple weeks ago, our marketing guy left, and now my boss left, and our e-commerce manager is planning on probably leaving, and our customer service gal is probably going to quit as soon as she can find something. And that will leave... Oh, the Honest War. Yes, you're right. I remember that. Which I do like them. Yeah, so that'll leave... Let's see, I've got 6 people out on the production floor. And then I'll have 3 people up front. So there'll be 10 of us total. You know, that's... What is that, a 30% loss? You know, which will create some stress, but yeah, it's... And in my mind, it's not so much an indication of the problems of HQ as much as it is the problems of my former boss. You know, so I've mentioned this before. We do precious metal. And when I started 3 years ago, you know, I started building a team with people that had already worked with me, people that I trusted, that knew precious metal manufacturing. And so, you know, I have now 6 people that I have known for, well, minimum 4 years. Some of them up to, one of them 11 years now. None of them have left. None of them have started hating the job, or, you know, so I've done a semi-good job of keeping the frustration of the office away from the floor. And so they still enjoy coming to work. There's some changes that they're not happy about. I constantly bring up the schedule change. Nobody's happy about that. Everybody's dealing with it. There are advantages, like me streaming right now. Usually I would be leaving work around this time, but now on the 5-day work week, you know, today I left around 2 o'clock, a little after 2, Pacific Standard Time. So if I would have had all these, would have had all these technology issues, I would have started streaming 2:45 Pacific Standard Time. So, you know, that is a benefit. But yeah, so I think it's a positive change for the most part. You know, I've said this not necessarily in stream. I was always cautious. You never know who's listening, but not that I expect any of them to pop in. I got one guy from work that is probably lurking right now. Since he's not streaming, he's probably somewhere in the shadows. But no, I was always a little more cautious, so I didn't mention this. But you know, my issue was never with headquarters. My issue was with my boss. And so while I like him as a person, having to work with him, you know, him leaving doesn't hurt my feelings. I think that's an opportunity for some positive change there. And I think, you know, the way we've kind of run for the past, well, I'm coming up on 3 years, and he was He would hit 3 years end of July. And it was definitely the Wild West. And we work for a publicly traded company. And so there's a lot of rules and laws that we have to follow. And, both of us coming from private um, precious metals manufacturing, distributing, both of us are used to a much more, well, like the Wild West, loosey goosey. There are no rules, just get things done. Um, and that doesn't work at a publicly traded company. There's audits and stuff like that you have to go through. Pew pew. Oh, it was, my goodness, so much pew pew. And as I started learning more, and granted, the company has some share the blame. I learned everything by getting my wrist slapped, but I learned. And 3 years in, there's still stuff, that he just never learned and never wanted to learn. You get an invoice, it's not a approved, please pay. No, there's a whole process that has to be followed, and he just never cared to learn. And that's his prerogative, but I think it was why there was a lot of problems between him and HQ. I don't I don't share that hatred. I think it'll be fine. Yes, I will have problems with my new boss, who is the president of the company. Um, but the next, however long period of time, based on my very short conversation with the president on Monday, I just get a feeling that this is kind of a trial period for me. As to, as of right now, their message is we will be looking for a general manager. I think depending on how well I do, will determine whether I'm considered for that role. But as I've been saying to others, it's a two-way street. Whether they consider me and whether I want to be considered. Um, I appreciate the bump in pay that I'm getting to be the interim general manager. But to be real honest, I was 100% content with what my paycheck was as of last Friday, and I was 100% content with what my job duties were. I guess now it's getting a new boss, there's always a risk. Am I going to get someone that is potentially worse than the boss I just had? Am I going to get more of the same, or am I going to get one of those amazing bosses that you'd march into hell for? And you don't know. So, if I'm considered for that position as the permanent general manager, one way to eliminate that risk is to make sure that I am eligible for that and that I take it. I can tell you, after 3 days of being the interim general manager, I don't know if I want it. I know I can do it, but I don't know. It's nice being the second in charge. Um, you know, I'm now reporting to the president of the company, um, which means there's no buffer between me and headquarters. So any issues at my facility are on me. Um, and while I can say, hey, most of my duties prior to this semi promotion, I was already, they were already general manager duties. But it's one thing to do the job of the general manager, it's another thing to be the general manager. When I was doing the job, um, I wasn't I wasn't accountable. I was just responsible to get it done, but I wasn't accountable for it. My boss was accountable. Well, now he's gone, I'm accountable. Now, I've been in a similar situation before. So it's, to stick with our Wild West analogies, this ain't my first rodeo. I just don't know if I want to have this rodeo. Chances are, if it's offered, I probably will take it. Um, but this next period of time is going to be very telling as to what I want to do. I just need just a little more. I'm not going to waste putting it on the palate. So yeah, a lot of crazy changes for me this week. Meantime, I still have some of the same old BS that I always got to kind of deal with. Just as I don't, I had such a weird title before. They just made it up. Um, like I said, we do precious metal, so they gave me Mint Manager. What is that? You're the manager of the Mint. A political glop. I mean, hopefully it won't be. It definitely was, but I think, I mean, whatever. I know no one else is in here. I might have Ink One in here, but I've already said all this stuff to him. So let's just talk shit. Let's do it. Um, we're owned by a publicly traded company. Sorry, I just saw some spots I missed, and I hear my girlfriend yelling at the cat. Thought I was getting yelled at. So they decided to open this mint. It's a mining company, one of the bigger ones. They decided to open this mint, and they hired me first, and then they hired my boss as the VP of mint operations and the general manager. He came from another mint where he handled just various aspects of the sales channels and stuff like that. Production reported to him, but in the same sense as it did here, he had a guy that handled all of it. No offense to him, but he never really had a clue how it works. And of course, he had a lot of vision, and some of that may have been sold to him as a bill of goods that wasn't really upheld. But we found out very quickly that we weren't going to just have liberty to do whatever we wanted. that the CEO of the company, and then when he promoted essentially his successor to be the president, he's still there, but there's a succession plan. So when he promoted him as president, they had a different vision than what my boss had. And it's been like that for years. The president was promoted in December of last year, but you're the head of the company has a vision, you have an opposite vision. You have to reconcile that. And he never could, and it just led to more anger and more frustration, and I think there was a lot of dislike from HQ towards him and vice versa. It was both ways. And so I think a lot of the, I'm saying this just to kind of show there was some politics going on that finally led to him leaving. And I think they will lay off a bit as long as I play ball. And I have no intention of, my vision is to one day be able to retire. That's it. I don't have lofty ambitions. I don't need, I did come in with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, but sorry, I want to see what I ended up doing here. So that was slate gray, neutral gray. I don't remember if I feel like one of these colors wasn't, it may have been neutral gray, because I only used 4, and I know I used white blue, so I may have went from slate gray to cool gray to bright neutral gray and then white blue. I had to have. I know I jumped more. So I don't think I used the neutral gray. Oh shoot. Throwing paint around. So I mean, again, it's a positive change. I like the guy. On a semi-personal level. But there was definitely a lack of trust. I didn't feel like I could go to him with issues. The few issues I did go to weren't addressed, which led me to bring HR to deal with them, and that created a hole. I think that may have been part of the catalyst as to why he finally left. And although he doesn't know that I'm the one that brought HR into it, long story short, you had an employee taking advantage of him and doing things that no one should be allowed to, and he just wouldn't deal with it. So see, I almost think with this guy I need, I don't know why Fives looks like he has such darker armor. I don't know, Echo just seems like he's got brighter armor, but that might just be the lighting on this image. Yeah, this is such a weird... I think a bunch of his bracer that I already painted is going to be blue. Maybe not. Oh, that's the phase one. Uh, we'll figure it out. Maybe because this isn't an image of Echo. That looks like fives. I'm so confused, guys. It's like a mixture of both of them.
And what?
Um, yeah, we're gonna run with this image. Sorry. Um, yeah, let's do it. Gotta not get too distracted. I don't have a lot of time. So yeah, all that to say that my life just got a lot more complicated. A lot more complicated. So we're just making some little adjustments here. Just making sure. Making sure everything's set up right. Yeah, for anyone new in here, we had some issues. I've got a new headset, and to eliminate issues with my last headset, and yeah, the setup was a little more than I was hoping. So aside from that, as anyone that's been here before can see, there's been some changes to the Grizzly Den. I upgraded my starting screen, finally. Been saying I wanted to do that for a long time. Uh, I will take one break just so that I can show off my the changes I made to my BRB screen. Although if you missed my starting screen, some of it may not, Zombicide! Hey, that's a little more important than me painting clone troopers. You enjoy that with the little grots. I do appreciate you popping in, though, as always. So I think I need to cover most of this gray. Just leave a little bit in the slightest of recesses. Because this really needs to read as a stronger white than even Fives did. Although Fives came out looking great. But it was just a darker, oh shoot, I got this in my way. Can't even see, yeah, upgrading my little thing did reduce a little bit of my space. The border around my painting was a little bit bigger before, so I gotta make sure I have that open in front of me so that I can always be mindful of where I'm painting. I'm notorious for painting outside of the camera view. Hence why I have a channel point to let me know. Well, for you guys to let me know if you can't see what I'm painting. Yeah, some of that'll be the highest I go on it. Yeah, honestly, these guys are very easy to paint. It's well, easy in the sense that it's not a lot of colors. Um, Essentially, I'm going to use these four. So I'm using slate gray, cool gray, bright neutral gray, and then white blue for all the armor plates. And then it's just um, a darker, keep it on the darker sides of the gray. So probably like coal black, which is already primed down there to the black, the dark neutral gray, and then slate gray and neutral gray. I don't even know if I'll get to neutral gray for like the armor pads, the gun, his little pistols on his side. And then it looks like it's just like dark blue and blue. For like his little tunic thing or whatever. Oh, excuse me. We knew that was coming. Just a little bit of fatigue. Yeah, so relatively easy. Blood Drunk Bruce. How the heck are you doing? Drinking blood. Trooper is looking cool so far. Thank you. We'll see how I get. This is the one I did last Wednesday. Fives. And I'm actually pretty happy with him. We'll see if I can repeat that with this guy. This is Echo. Oh, do not put the paint in the whiskey. Yeah. I think these guys were the 501st. They were ARC troopers. I think they were under Rex. They first showed up in that they were just newbies. Oh, thank you. It's new. And yes, I am more than willing to confess that that is a lot of AI that I then take into Canva and make magic happen. Despite me painting, I am not an artist. So I've got to use the resources I can. Yeah, I recently redid my... I had just a basic, almost purplish color cave border. So I redid that. Not sure if this will be the final rendition. I mean, as you can tell, the theme is, no, so, actually, I mostly do Warcraft themed miniatures. But I started some Star Wars stuff, for May the 4th. And, for me, that, from May the 4th to May 25th, is strictly Star Wars every year because, well, I say every year like I've been doing this for longer than 2 years. But May 25th is the anniversary of Star Wars A New Hope. So I did this last year, did it again this year, but then I had so many, last year I just had a couple little Star Wars miniatures. Now I've got armies of this Star Wars Legion. And so I made the decision that I'm just going to stick with these all summer. Some of these I'll blow through pretty quickly. Most of the clone troopers, I won't do this method. I'll use like here's an example. Clone Commander Cody. This was done with one step special sauce from Monument Hobbies mixed with white blue over a black primer with a white zenithal dry brush. Hey, Nerd Central. Only Warcraft model I painted was the Lich King. Ooh. One day I'll do the Lich King. Oh, it's between Star Wars, Warhammer, and Lord of the Rings. Yes, Pro Acryl has revolutionized my life. It definitely pushed me up a notch with the painting. Are your Lord of the Rings models the Games Workshop Middle Earth ones? And hey, Nerd Central, I was lurking in a few of your streams this week. I was at work, so I couldn't hang out too long, and my work just got a little crazier for me. But okay. I have not gotten any of those. I do follow a sculptor on My Mini Factory called The Printing Goes Ever On, and they make Lord of the Rings themed miniatures, but they get away with it because they're not for tabletop. They're based on the book and not the movies, which is how I had to look all this up. Texas Warsmith was in here. We were talking about this last Wednesday, so I had to look up how they got away with that. Going good. Trying to get some 3D prints done before I leave for a trip. What you printing? Which, speaking, one day I'll get the commands set up. I thought I had the Nightbot, or not Nightbot, the Stream.bot or whatever working, but it's not. Obviously, it's not. There's something about the official models that I'm drawn to. No, I mean, for real, like, there's a difference between a lot of, and those official models are based on the movies. So it's different than a lot of your sculpts, which is really cool. Structures for a Legion board. Oh, okay. Random outpost tower. Where'd you find those? The sculpts. But yeah, Blood Drunk Bruce. I like that name. Oh, do you stream too? Yeah, I have bots, but they don't, I haven't gotten them all right. There we go. I'll throw you a follow. And since you're here, so right now, as you can see, I'm having to manually type, oh, I gotta wait. Sorry, I gotta wait 30 seconds still. Thingiverse. Okay. Which, as far as I know, is still free. My Mini Factory bought them up, so. Oh, that's fine. I don't care. For me, you know, I'm a small streamer. The only way I feel like smaller streamers, is all of us growing together. But usually paint stream every night except Wednesdays. Oh, okay. So you're more full time. Yeah, no, give me a couple more seconds, let that reset, and I'll... So we actually have a few people in here. Well, yes, and once you start kind of getting into the community, most people, like I'm like you, I don't broadcast when I'm in other streams, um, but I usually do try to ask people, especially newer people coming in here. I do like to ask if they stream. One, I like to make sure that I'm throwing follows, but as well doing the shout out. I'll have to check. I'll have to check that out, Nerd Central. Because eventually, I mean, right now, so I printed off an ATTE walker, and I got it from Gambody. Ad break starting soon. Don't worry, it's just a 30-second. There we go. I hate ads. I have it as low as I can, as low as Twitch will allow me. I kind of forgot where I was. Oh, there we go. So it'll be just a short ad. But yeah, Nerd Central, I printed off a... Oh, don't worry about it. My name's easy to remember. You can follow later. I'm not worried. Yeah, the ATTE was... It's from Gambody, so it's like all moving parts. Okay, one second.
Who will follow me into battle?
There we go. Oh, the timing on this ad must be off. I thought you guys were still in the ad. There we go. There we go. I don't know if you were stuck in the ad when that went off, but thank you. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, Nerd Central, that ATTE was, I think it was 100, around like 100 pieces. 100 distinct pieces. I stream, well, right now I stream Wednesday nights, Friday afternoons, and Saturday mornings. I'm Pacific Standard Time, so I try to get on, well, I just changed my schedule as of last week, and I'm trying to stick with it. So, around 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Wednesdays, 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Fridays, and then 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time Saturdays. Yeah, I complain about this every stream for the past like 2 months, but my work schedule changed, and for a while there, I just was streaming Saturdays, but I'm kind of getting into a rhythm again. Yeah, I appreciate it. I will do likewise. Just so you know, I'm a professional lurker. So a lot of times I will pop out, say hi, and then disappear and lurk. I actually have, I have 3 streams going on in my ear right now. Actually, oh sorry, only 1 in my ear, but I have 2 more open on one of my screens. I have Monument Hobbies, they're still going, and I've got them in my ear. Yeah, Nerd Central. It was so it was a Gambody model. A lot of those parts you had to print like anywhere from 4 to 16 times. And I think this model has got to be like I scaled it to match the Legion miniatures. And I actually used one of the extra. There's an extra rider with the Star Wars Legion ATRT. Um, and that rider fits perfectly on the main gun turret for the 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 ATT Walker. So I managed to scale it pretty close to perfect. Um, but my goodness, what a nightmare. I also printed off same thing. Got it from Gambody. One of those the gunships, the troop carrier gunships. And I do have a model for the gunships that carry the ATTEs, but I need to first. That gunship is still, half of it is still in supports and all that. Crank out a bunch of terrain next week. Oh wow, so you're almost out of minis. I don't know if that's a good problem to have or not. But I mean, that frees you up to, yeah, do some of that terrain. Oh yeah, that's right, you did say that. Oh, bless you. That's gonna be a pretty penny. I'm I'm with you, blood drunk. Oh, there's a cat at my feet. Um, I think that's part of why I wanted to stick with the Legion miniatures is my personal backlog is just insane right now. I still I've got I don't know, probably 50, 60 clone troopers left to paint. And that's the smart way to do it. I'm at that age, my parents just send me money, and then I buy minis with it. Yeah, my terrain pile of shame and my mini pile of shame is pretty great. The Horus Heresy Vulcan. I have never actually, I've never heard of. I've heard of Horus Heresy, of course, but never heard of the Vulcan. Yeah, I'm out here in the Vegas desert alone, so it's just, you know, I spend the holidays here in Nevada with my girlfriend. Um, so they're back in the Midwest. It's just easier. And I think they, you know, like my parents are, you know, you buy what you want. Although I know what to get my dad. He does, I gotta look up the messages to find out the scale, but he does model trains, and there's a lot of stuff that he needs that I can print. Okay. Yeah. We'll see if I make it to Adepticon next year. I didn't this year. I think his is HO. He's got a whole room in his house that is a train room, and it's a full setup. It's amazing. He's constantly adding to it and going to train shows. You know, he's retired, so He's got the time now. Now, so I think I've got probably 400 assembled and primed. No, sorry, 200 assembled and primed miniatures. Half of those are 3D printed, and I've got 200 that are assembled. They're 3D printed, so not really assembled. 200 that are waiting to be primed, and then I probably have another 200 physical minis in boxes, not even taken out of the box yet. Those are the Rebel Alliance, the Empire, and the Shadow Collective. And then I got the StarCraft pre-orders shipping any second now. So yeah, I got problems. And then I've got a medieval barracks. Some Oriental tower building or whatever. And then I've got that Star Wars Clone Trooper gunship. All waiting for me. Let's get into Halo Flashpoint. Oh, yeah. I guess I never really got into playing Halo, so... I probably will avoid that one. I don't, I think I talked to you about this, but I don't really play war games. War games? Man, words. I just enjoy painting. You know, that's why most of what I do is Warcraft painting. Because I don't even... Like, I got in pretty heavy when the recent expansion came out, but now if I even do once a week on World of Warcraft, you know, that's saying something. I just barely touch it. But I mean, I go in phases. You know, I was doing really good with the miniature painting last year. And then I kind of, not really burned out, I just had a hard time getting motivated. That's a topic you don't want to get me on. I'll start ranting. No, I mean, I love the new expansion. I think they, you know, especially the nostalgia value with Silvermoon, and I was not super late to the game, but I hit level 60 2 weeks before the Burning Crusade came out. So, you know, Silvermoon is a lot of the early experience for me. Or the Burning Crusade expansion, rather. Since OG Lich King. Yeah, you know, next expansion, we're going back to Northrend. To a completely redone zone, which, if this expansion is any indication of where they're at now, I think it'll be very good. Because they really made a mess with Shadowlands. But yeah, I have one very, very sore point with well, I've got a few sore points, but I even had a emote to express my frustration with the fact that the Horde does not have a war chief. I think after they made Sylvanas Windrunner the war chief, and then she got deposed, they never picked another war chief. And I hate that. All right, rant over. Now, so I took on a self project, I guess. Um, I got a I got on a Frontier, which is like My Mini Factory's version of a Kickstarter, and it was for a Sun Elf army that is I guess it's one-page rules compatible. Personally, I just thought that's really cool. I've never heard of Sun Elves, and well, I had just learned about Sun Elves with a couple models that I was painting a long time ago. And so I jumped on this Kickstarter, and that's that's the 200 miniatures that are unprimed. They're all Sun Elves, set up in like regiments, and it's really cool. I just need to actually paint it. And so as I was nearing completion of printing all these, I had the crazy thought, why don't I use all these various World of Warcraft or Warcraft sculpts that I have and make a Horde army? And so I did. I kind of themed it, and again, I'm not looking to make it compatible with any particular game. I just want a army. And so it is a Warcraft 1/Warcraft 2 themed army. So, it's got forest trolls, of course, orcs, ogres, goblins. I even have a couple dragon riders, or drake riders. They're smaller. And yeah, I'm about halfway through it. And then, of course, May the 4th hit, and I had to jump over to these. But I made the decision not to go back to that just yet, and just keep rolling with Star Wars. Let's see, we're still doing all right. I'm gonna take a quick break when I want to show off my new BRB screen that I updated. And refill my whiskey real fast. So, hang out for a second. I will be right back. All right. Thanks to everyone who stuck around. Very proud of that BRB screen. My last one was pretty much my logo, and it just said, "I'll be right back." So this one took a lot more work, even though yes, the base was AI. There was a lot of extra stuff I had to put into it, but pretty proud of it. Let's see. Now we gotta start getting a little more careful. So, kind of just to repeat what I was saying earlier. As of right now, staying pretty consistent with this, but the stream schedule we're looking at keeping Wednesday approximately um, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Um, Friday between 1 and 2 Pacific Standard Time. And then Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Some days I will get on a little bit earlier, but I try to get on at least by those times. Saturday has always been a stream day for me. Friday used to be a regular stream day, but when the schedule changed, that kind of threw a lot of that into disarray. Oh, hi, kitty. Feel a cat at my feet. Oh, he's sleeping down there. Right now, I doubt I'm going to be adding any extra days to that. I had considered before um, other weeknights. That is the one advantage to my current schedule. Um, I'm in the past up until April, I think. Um, I and the manufacturing staff were working. I was strictly in charge of manufacturing, production, um, fulfillment, whatever. Um, we were on a Monday to Thursday, so I was working about 10 hours each day and then having Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Well, that changed. That was the first change. So that kind of threw my stream schedule a little bit into disarray. And only last week did I kind of solidify a new one. But then, as I was saying, kind of at the beginning of the stream, um, Monday was my boss's last day. And I found that out on Monday. I also found out that I'm now the interim GM, which is fine, but that's uh, that's a lot of extra on my plate now. So I say all that just to say that additional streams are probably out of the cards for now. Yeah, because my life just got. I mean, I'm 3 days into my new role, and the increase in responsibility and increase in stress. Um, yeah, it's been quite a bit. So for now, we'll stick with the three streams a week. Um, and then as I said earlier, um, I'm not going to finish this guy tonight. Oh, sorry, Kat. I keep forgetting you're down there. Um, so I will probably set this guy aside after stream. Try to get as much on him done as I can tonight. Um, we'll see. It's already 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for me. It was a late start due to technology. Um, um, yeah, so I've got some other stuff I got to work on that I can do. Um, I got a whole bunch of B1 battle droids that I'm working on. I didn't really want to do them on stream. Kind of wanted to. Oh, sorry, ain't enough off camera. Um, yeah, I just wanted to. I feel like I'm messing this up a little bit. I didn't feel like slapping a bunch of graphite gray one step on rifles was going to be entertaining. Figured you guys would be much more entertained by me talking about my job. Well, I paint Echo, that is. Um, yeah, so these are what I was talking about. Sorry, I feel compelled now to show you guys. I've got 30 of them here. Just supplied. Some I need to do a little touch up on, but just one step khaki. See if I can get that to zoom right. Yeah, it's gonna, whatever. One step one step special sauce with pro acryl khaki all over the droid. So really all I need to do is just use graphite gray on all of the guns, paint the base with some basing texture, do a little bit of touch up on some of these guys, and that puts 30 more miniatures out of my pile of shame, my pile of opportunity. I'm sorry, I'm second guessing myself here as I'm doing this. I just feel like the armor is gonna end up too dark. But I know, I mean, again, this is white armor. So I keep telling myself, trust the process. Some stuff, and I remember having the same issue last Wednesday with fives. Some stuff just doesn't look good until it looks good. And a lot of this white armor is like that. So
We're being attacked!
Painty Paint Paints, welcome on in. How are you doing tonight? And welcome in, Raiders. Yeah, that's one of my old favorites. Well, after this summer, when I go back to painting Warcraft, it'll be whoops, I just kicked my cat again. My goodness. I forget he's down there. It will be Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2 themed orcs. I'm not actually kicking him. I just keep touching him with my feet. How is everybody doing tonight? How was your stream, Painty? So it didn't. Oh my goodness. You know, I get all these bots and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Oh no, it did. Okay. It did shout you out. I just didn't see it. But I see it now. Okay. It worked. Actually, I have you on one of the windows. I was lurking. The grizzly is always lurking. Let me close that now. The scheme for Malediction Warband. To do the things. To do all the things. Remind me again what you're doing with that Malediction Warband. Is that for competition or just for fun? Ah, oh, yes, yes. I do remember that now. It's your nature. I, on the other hand, have no problem just half-assing my paint jobs. I've got 30 B1 battle droids that I'm kind of half-assing. Trying to not half-ass this clone though. I so I'm using. I just had them out up here a second ago. I did a black primer, white dry brush, um, and then I used khaki. The zoom isn't too happy right now. I used khaki Monument Hobbies with the special sauce and slapped it all over them. And I just have to throw the one-step graphite gray on their guns, and then just prime or do basing texture on the bases. Yeah, I did look up like the Agrax Earthshade. There were a couple other. I don't remember which one of the speed paints someone was recommending, but I don't know. Sometimes with this one step, I feel like I'm cheating. That's why I'm. Oh, that was too much paint. That's why I'm trying to take a little more time on. Like this is one of the named clone troopers, Echo. He's from the, I think it's the Heroes of the Clone Wars set. So, trying to make him a little more good looking. Similar to, this was Fives, another named clone trooper that I did last Wednesday. So I'm trying to get this guy on a similar level. So far we're doing alright. I feel like the armor is a little too dark, but I still have one more highlight to apply. Absolutely. See, I knew I liked you for a reason. You know all the good stuff. Yeah, I've got Rex sitting over here as well. He's primed. Hey AVG, appreciate the lurk. Yeah, I won't be on too much longer tonight, but I'll catch you Friday. Yeah, so he'll be next up after those battle droids and after this guy, of course. Thank you, I appreciate that. Really do. I have another whip over here. I was working on Darth Maul on Saturday. And I was doing really well on his black cloth, and then I threw transparent black over it, and it made it shiny. And I don't know, I was just so tired Saturday. I gave up on them. Because then I started working on the black leather, and I just couldn't wrap my mind around my highlight placement, or the shiny parts of the leather. And finally I was just like, I just can't. That's when I started on those B1 battle droids. Okay, where was I? So Maul is in progress. I've got all those battle droids in progress. Because then I got 2 of the Stap Riders in front of me that I need to do some touch up on their armor. Some areas I just flat out missed. And then of course all the base. I'll just slap basing texture on it. So yeah, for everybody that's that raided in, I probably should introduce myself. I'm Grizzly. I do miniature painting. Occasionally I play World of Warcraft, but that is far and few in between. So I more often than not paint Warcraft themed miniatures though. Right now I am trying to clear up some of my pile of shame right now. We got probably 400 miniatures assembled. Half of those are primed, and then I have another couple hundred in boxes still. So yeah, I gotta get some work done. And since I was trucking along with these Legion minis, I set all the Horde ones, the Warcraft ones aside. I also get distracted very easy, if you haven't noticed. As of last week, my stream schedule is semi set in stone for now. Wednesday nights, starting around 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Except for nights like tonight where I'm struggling with technology. And then Fridays about 1 or 2 Pacific Standard Time. I try to wait till Adventure Built Gaming. Oh my goodness. I almost didn't stream. I battled with my headset, microphone, all that for about an hour and a half today. Yeah, I was ready to start using them curse words. But Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's kind of always been my stream time, but took me a while to really find a good time. But I think this time frame will work out. Yeah, my last headset, I've got to say, Razer products have kind of left me pretty disappointed. You know, had that headset for, I don't know, what are we at, like a little over a year since I started this whole streaming thing. And in the past couple months, the microphone just intermittently stops working. Yeah, so I was having issues. Actually, Beagle was the one that recommended from Smiling Beagle Studios that I put the mute unmute on the Elgato Stream Deck that I've got. Because every time I'd mute my microphone, I couldn't unmute it. And it kept getting worse and worse and worse. So even after I put adding that button helped for a little bit. But then even that stopped working. And so I finally said, because all the other, like the camera I'm using, this Razer Kio, the microphone on that would work. So when I'd switch the input source, you know, all the other camera stuff would work. Or microphone, sorry. So finally replaced it with this, but then I couldn't get this to work at all. I don't even know what I did to make it work, but it's working. Knock on wood. So, yeah, my distraction issues are not being helped by the fact that Monument Hobbies is still streaming, and I've got them in my ear right now. So, I'm already easily distracted, and then I'll hear them say something. They got some after hours painting session with a bunch of their crew. I don't know, it looks like there's a couple people on another camera all hobbying together. Look at that backpack a little bit. Oh, because the backpack is not white. His might stay white. Because that looks good. Ish. We'll see. I will say this new mic does pick up a little more. Just a little more. Let's try to do the real bright highlighting. Try to at least get that done. So I think what I was doing with fives was just using this for just the highest highlights. Because this is a really bright, this is their white blue. So very bright color. Just to really try to get this to read as, oh, ad break. Try to get this to read more as white. Okay. Yeah, it's just a short ad break. I passionately hate ads. So I know on fives I use the little glaze. I think I glazed the cool gray to unify the deepest shadows with the cool gray. I don't think I need to do that with this one. Because those shadows really are... Problem with fives is some of those shadows, they were in the shadows, but you could really see them, and it just kind of looked weird. This one is, you know, those... I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. There's a reason. There's a logic. I promise you. There is usually a method to my madness. And sometimes I even know what it is. I don't know if I'm keeping this backpack white, because I think it's supposed to be black, but kind of committed now. Or at least a dirtyish gray. Yeah, so I will be back Friday. We will finish this guy Friday afternoon. We'll say, yeah, it'll probably be closer to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have a meeting with my new boss at noon my time. I get a feeling there may be some action items from that meeting that I need to get done before I leave work. Since I am now the on-site manager for my factory, the interim general manager. Yeah, I mentioned earlier my boss basically quit. Guess he gave his notice a while back, a couple weeks ago, and just didn't notify us. He was supposed to, being a VP, he was supposed to work till mid-July, as per his contract, but I think they just made the decision to just go ahead and accept his resignation. You know, pay him out more money than most of us will see. And so now I'm the man now. Oh, let's see. I don't know if that should have probably been. That should have been the white color too. Still have a little bit of wet paint, so we're gonna make this work. Yeah, see, that was easy. Um, um, I think that's not as bright as this one. Well, at least on the helmet. I need to brighten that helmet up a little more. Uh, I still feel like the helmet's too dark. I think I left too much of the... Alright. I think that is good for now. I might have to go back. Oh, camera's doing some weird stuff. Might have to go back, and some of those armor plates do look a little strange, but I think we're the 2 a.m. alarm clock is coming pretty quickly, so I need a little time to decompress and before we call it a night. But I think yeah, I knew tonight was going to be a little bit of a shorter stream. Simply because we got late to the start. Well, I'm gonna raid us over to our buddy Garcia's artwork. What is he working on? He's building and painting a Chaos Knight Ruinator miniature. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and there's still a few of us in here, so give him a follow and stick around. He's a pretty cool dude. Pretty cool cat commander. So I'm gonna click to start the raid. /raid. Okay, so let us look at that. Yeah, so we're gonna raid over to Garcia's artwork. Like I said, throw him a follow. I will be back Friday at approximately 3 a.m. Wow. 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. PM. 2. So hopefully I see you guys there. But otherwise, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week.